right, we will go ahead and get started, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our virtual Lunch and Learn today. I hope everyone's week is going well. Some of our upcoming events are listed on the screen. We have virtual fitness classes going on Monday through Thursday, as well as some special Friday classes in August to go with the YP4H challenge. We have some yoga classes and Pilates as well. And you can register for all of those and get the links on Link to Health. Our next Lunch and Learn will be on Friday, August 28th, and it will be on workplace ergonomics. Part 2 of the Stay Calm and Well webinar series starts on August 12th at 12:30, and that is a 7-week webinar series. Our Family Wellness Expo has gone virtual this year, and that is on Saturday, August 15th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. During the presentation, if you have any questions, please post them into the chat box and we will get to them at the end. Our speaker today is Dr. Kayla Borchers. She is a physical therapist at Ohio State's Jamison Crane Sports Medicine Institute. She received her undergraduate degree in exercise science education from The Ohio State University in 2014, and her doctorate of physical therapy in 2017, also from Ohio State. Following graduation, she began working as a clinician for, you guessed it, Ohio State. She then sought additional training to become a certified yoga teacher, which has contributed to Kayla's holistic approach when evaluating and treating each individual patient. Please welcome Kayla. I will now let you share your screen.
All right, hello everyone. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. One moment. All right, and we'll pull up this PowerPoint. So it's my pleasure to be joining you all today. I am a physical therapist, as Nicole mentioned, and I'm really grateful to be speaking with you all today. So the title of today's presentation is Physically Distanced, Not Physically Inactive. And the goal of this talk is to come up with ways to stay active and healthy while reducing one's risk during the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. So some background about myself and how this became a passion area for me. We will go over the benefits of physical activity and why this is so important during this pandemic, and then how to safely become and stay active, as well as resources to help you and your family become and stay active. So some background on me, as Nicole already went over, so we'll just skip right on past that. And then we'll dive into how I became a little bit more passionate in bringing wellness specific courses to our university setting and our medical center. So when the pandemic started really ramping up here in Central Ohio, our clinic went from treating patients in person 5 days a week to clinicians only coming in person twice a week, and then doing telehealth the rest of the time. There was high stress and staff burnout across the medical center and university from this constant influx of change. So a group of us put our heads together to think of ways that we could help address frontline providers, as well as those whose typical work situation was uprooted and they now found themselves working from home. So we decided to film virtual wellness classes from the Surgical Skills Lab, which typically this lab would have different training sessions for surgical cases, and they had to shut down. So it was a way that we could collaborate with other members of our team to help keep them busy, keep us busy, while still providing something really great for the university and medical center staff. So these classes really were focused on stress reduction, safe movement mechanics, and staff camaraderie during this time. Now, we received an outpouring of positivity from participants, specifically a quote here, "Today has felt like the first normal and manageable day." And I think that's a great launching point for today's discussion on why physical activity, why this is so important, especially right now. So, why physical activity? Benefits of physical activity include the prevention and treatment of hypertension, obesity, heart disease, diabetes, and various cancers. You may have seen some of these conditions highlighted in the media spotlight as risk factors for more severe illness with coronavirus. So if physical therapy can help prevent and treat these, why not become physically active or stay physically active? Furthermore, physical activity has been shown to have similar effectiveness as medications and psychotherapy on such mental health conditions as depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, exhaustion and emotional exhaustion, detachment from others, anxiety, and irritability. Again, all of these have been shown to be heightened during the pandemic. So physical activity can assist with our ability to cope with the ongoing stress of COVID-19 and to avoid or manage psychological ill health. Physical activity has the potential to reduce the severity of COVID-19 infections. During physical activity, muscles produce compounds that improve functioning of one's immune system and reduce inflammation. So although studies on the effects of exercise have not specifically been conducted on COVID-19 patients, the effects of exercise on immunity, inflammation, and viral respiratory infections are well documented. So this is a really nice visual to highlight some of the benefits of physical activity. So we're all well aware of improved body composition, improved physical function, improved muscle strength. However, some of the areas that specifically relate more to reducing our risk during the COVID-19 pandemic are improved blood pressure, improved glucose and insulin sensitivity, which affects one's risk factors for diabetes, which we know can be a severe risk factor. Oh, don't need to be an epic right now. And then improving your cholesterol levels, improved immune function, and then greater oxidative capacity, which looks at the lungs' ability to take in oxygen and help us breathe better. So these are all benefits of physical activity that we can see no matter where we're exercising. All right, so ways to reduce one's risk for COVID-19. We've seen in the news and we've seen throughout our university highlighting the importance of physical distancing, frequent hand washing, avoiding to touch one's face, and mask wearing. What I want to highlight today is adding physical activity to this list. It should not be an afterthought. Physical activity helps to reduce the risk of severe infections and stressful reactions to the pandemic, not to mention all of the other benefits of physical activity to one's overall health and wellness. So how do I become or stay physically active? So first, I want to draw your attention to a little risk analysis. So when you're wanting to become more active, do you do this in the community or do you do this at home? So the group of exercise physiologists within the American College of Sports Medicine came out with a statement stating that those at greatest risk for severe complications of COVID-19 are the elderly, defined as age 65 or older, and others with chronic diseases or compromised immune function. So this we know. Now these individuals are recommended to avoid gyms altogether and exercise at home or in their neighborhood, so that they're taking a risk analysis on this situation and maybe being a little bit more conservative compared to somebody that doesn't fall into that group. And there are plenty of ways that we can stay active at home or in one's neighborhood, which we'll get into in a few. So ways to reduce your risk: maintain at least 6 feet social distancing, avoid crowded areas, wear a face mask if you cannot physically distance by at least 6 feet. So if you're going to be spread out, if you're out for a jog and you're not in a super crowded area, you don't need to worry about having that face mask up the whole time you're running. What's really great is just having something around your neck, and then you can pull it up as you get close to people and then pull it down as you pass. Same thing for if you're out hiking at one of our great metro parks. There has been research to show that low to moderate intensity physical activity does not affect your oxygen and carbon dioxide levels. So you should not fret about that. Wipe down equipment prior to use, especially if you're out in the community exercising in a gym situation. Now, when exercising with others, an ideal situation would be to have a room with good airflow. So a lot of gyms will open up their garage doors so you have that fresh air coming in and out. And then of course, exercising outdoors, especially now during the summer months, is a great option. So physical activity frequency and duration for adults is recommended at 30 minutes daily, and for children, 1 hour daily. So similar to taking a medication daily, each session of physical activity has an acute effect on your mood, immune functioning, and inflammation. That's why getting some activity, some form of activity daily is super important. Now, you may not have a chunk of 30 minutes to go and become physically active. So fitting in little amounts throughout the day can be a much more attainable place to start. Maybe you have 2 minutes between 2 calls that you can go for a quick walk around your house or down the block and back and then jump on a call. So really just working it in throughout your day to have little spikes of getting that heart rate up can have those benefits that we want to see on mood, immune function, and inflammation. This was a good visual from the World Health Organization on activity levels for both children and adults. So if you have children at home, keeping in mind, they're young, they need to burn off more of that energy. And so making sure they really are getting that 1 hour daily. Now we'll look at intensity of exercise. So moderate intensity physical activities like walking have the best effect on immune response. That's because extremely vigorous exercise, like running a marathon, temporarily reduces immune function. So taking a look at this graph here, we have physical stress to the body dependent on that activity intensity. And so if we're in this moderate range, it has moderate stress to our body, and that actually is that perfect amount of stress to get the best effects on inflammatory markers and immune response. So as we start getting into those extremely vigorous activity levels, it puts a substantial amount of stress on our body that actually lowers the immune response for a period of time. So everybody's a little bit different in this category. So some examples of moderate intensity exercise are provided on the left-hand table here. But what's moderate intensity for one person might be different from a competitive marathon runner, right? So knowing yourself and what your body can handle, maybe not working out to that point of extreme exhaustion. And if you are, to know that that immune response is lowered right after that. So making sure that you are hydrating correctly and maybe taking some extra precaution if you are getting into those very vigorous and extreme ranges of activity. But it's also important to highlight at this moderate intensity, things like cleaning heavy duty, like vacuuming and mowing the lawn for yard work are included in that. So exercise and physical activity doesn't have to mean doing 30 minutes of set, strength training exercise or going for a run. It can mean cleaning around your house at a heavier duty pace. So it really is things that we can work in throughout our day and doesn't have to be, something completely different than maybe what you're already doing. And then type. So aerobic exercise is recommended for 150 to 300 minutes per week. So that gives us that 30 minutes, 5 days a week, if we want to break it down on the lower end of the spectrum. And that's that moderate intensity aerobic exercise, such as going for a walk or, doing a lot of heavy duty household chores or yard work. And then strength training is recommended for 2 sessions a week. So I would put that at 2 30-minute sessions as well, worked in throughout your week, giving you 30 minutes of activity for all 7 days of the week. So some fun examples of aerobic activities that we can get creative with, especially during this time when your gym may not be open or you don't feel comfortable going, or what's typically offered isn't being offered. You can just put some music on, walk around your house briskly, and this is something you can do easily to break it up throughout the day. Put some music on and dance. You can jump rope, do an exercise video. There are tons of local studios and national studios that have shifted to online and virtual classes. So definitely look into that for any local studios that you're interested in. If you have home cardio equipment, that's a great option. And then, as we talked about, household chores. Now, for getting outside aerobic activities, of course, go for a walk or a jog in your neighborhood or a local park. Bicycling, so cycling is fantastic. Swimming, if you have a local pool that you can get to or one of your own. And then just playing games and being active with your family, as well as creating circuit training. So if you have a variety of exercises and you group them together, you could go from doing squats to lunges to burpees to get that aerobic activity in. So I wanted to provide this as an example of a walk jog progression. This is one that we use with our sports medicine patients getting back to running post-injury. So if you are interested in becoming more active with running for your aerobic exercise, this is a good place to start. So an increased risk of injury occurs when we do something too much too soon. And so by walking for 4 minutes and then running for a minute and alternating back and forth with that, you give your muscles and your tendons and your joints time to adapt to that level of impact so that you help reduce your risk of an injury coming on from that. So we are seeing a lot more individuals taking up running during this time, so I definitely wanted to throw that in there. So for strength training, some good options are, again, to find an app or some kind of a virtual option to help you with that at home. So the Nike training app is one that I personally use, not affiliated with them in any way. It's just personal preference, and it's free. And they have some really good variety of videos that are good if you miss those group fitness classes. And then again, videos for local studios or some that are on YouTube. There's a lot out there, but definitely screening it, making sure if it is something you're finding on YouTube that the source seems credible and you're not putting yourself up for risk of injury by doing something that's perhaps a little more advanced than what you're used to. Yoga is fantastic for strengthening as well as for anxiety and stress reduction. Even just taking time to breathe can fall into this category of physical activity for yourself. So that really helps tap into that mental health aspect of things. But there are lots of great resources out there for yoga as well. And then for strength training, finding ways to develop circuits around your house. As I mentioned, some squats or lunges, but also push-ups against the wall or the kitchen counter, and then working your way down to the floor dependent on your strength. And then single leg step-ups or heel taps on the stairs. So that stairwell can act as a plyometric box to do some step-ups on. And then here is a core strength training progression that, again, we use with some of our patients here in the sports medicine sphere. So on the left-hand side, you have the initial phase of these strength training exercises, and then progressions there on the right-hand side. There are explanations with each of these interventions, and the most important thing is form. So we always stress quality over quantity. So absolutely, if you feel yourself start to lose your form, such as, for this very first one, do not allow your back to sag during this exercise. If you're feeling yourself do that, stop. Don't hold for, the goal duration. Maybe you start out holding 5 seconds and then you work your way up to that 30-second goal. So give yourself some grace. You don't have to be where that goal marker is right off the bat. Just work your way up to it. So daily wellness at work, that's where we spend, 8 hours of our day. So throughout the day, working in times where you can get up and move around. So for every hour, try to find at least 20 to 30 seconds where you get up, do a walk around the house, or, go for a coffee or grab some water just to change your position. We see a lot of neck pain and back pain coming on, especially during this time when people are working from home and not in their usual office and work ergonomic position. So getting up and moving throughout the day can help reduce that static posture and help reduce your risk of pain and injury. So some examples would be to stand for a balance exercise. So just stand on one leg, look side to side, and stand on one leg and close your eyes. That will all help challenge your balance. You can march in place and think about how you're activating your core while you're doing that. Then we mentioned taking the walk. And then getting up and stretching as well. So you can do this while sitting at your computer desk or getting up and standing right by your desk and stretching out there. And then for posture, taking a look at your work home setup and taking in mind this picture here. So we should be seated nice and tall, ears over shoulders over hips. And then it gives some really good indicators on here for each of your positionings. So hips should be above knees. If your knees are above your hips, that really impinges at that hip joint. And we want that joint to be more open. So hips above knees. And then you want your hips all the way back in your seat so that you're nice and supported and not sitting on the edge of your chair. So if your chair can't lower down, find a little step stool or an old shoebox to put your feet on. And then that way your hips can be all the way back. And then the natural curve of your lower back should fit against that backrest. Now, if you do not have one of those office chairs while you're working from home, you can grab a towel and roll it up and use that as a lumbar roll. So literally take like a body towel and roll that up. You can put tape around it. So you've got that cylindrical roll, and you would place that right above your belt line. And as you're scooted all the way back in the chair, that'll help provide that natural arch that you want to see. Back pain can often come on when people are sitting super slouched, so we get that more rounded posture. Then finally, looking up at the shoulders and the elbows. So your shoulders should be relaxed away from your ears. Oftentimes as people get stressed and intense, their shoulders start to creep up towards their ears. And that's again when some neck pain can come on. So relax those shoulders away from your ears and then make sure the elbows are at about 90 degrees or slightly open beyond that. All right, so as we're talking about physical activity and wellness, do not forget about those kiddos. Ask your kids to teach you their favorite game from PE class or from recess, and that can be a good moment of activity for the whole family. Have a family dance party. Challenge each other to learn a new yoga pose, or create a challenge such as a plank or a push-up challenge. All right, so we'll get into some resources to help you and your family be active. So internally, we have some good resources here from our Buckeye Wellness staff, which many of you may be aware of, but if you're not, I do want to direct your attentions to them. So we have some fantastic resources just within OSU ourselves that have been ongoing during the pandemic. So if you have not taken a look at this page, I really urge you to do so. When my group was providing virtual wellness options, we lived under here and had a link to our offerings. With us getting back up to 5 days a week, full patient caseload capacity in person, we are not able to still offer those classes. However, I know that Your Plan for Health does have some video options, which you can find on the Your Plan for Health calendar. So definitely take a look at that if you're interested in some video and virtual options to do from home to break up your day and be physically active while joining in with others. And then on here, keeping in mind all of the resources for wellness from the physical standpoint, but also the nutrition and the mindfulness standpoint. So externally, some resources for all ages are listed here with links in this text. So these are just some more reputable sources to go to, and I would recommend any of these. So I personally clicked on each of these and delved into them a bit. So there's a lot out there, and sometimes it's hard to know what to trust and what might be a good resource, but here are some good resources to just help mix things up if you're feeling in a bit of a drought of what to do. And then here's youth resources. So for those who have kiddos at home, these are really great options to get into for your kids and ways that you can be active with them. And then I wanted to throw this out there as individuals are getting back to physical activity or are doing things that maybe they're not used to. If an injury comes on or an ache and pain comes on, don't be afraid to reach out to us. That's what we're here for. So my passion really lies in promoting physical activity and reducing one's risk of injury before we even get to this point. But in the event that you do, us as physical therapists are also here to help you get back to what you love doing when an injury does come on. So if it's sports related and you're wanting to get back to higher levels of physical activity, that would be our sports medicine group. And then if you're wanting to get back to activities of daily living without pain, or if you have an underlying neurological condition, then that would be our orthopedic and neurological rehab team here. So kind of went through that fast, but I wanted to make sure that there was time for questions. So we'll launch into that, and I'm happy to delve into anything else further.
Great, Kayla, thank you. That was very informative information that we definitely all need and can use. Just a reminder, everyone, if you have questions, you can type them into the chat box. We have time to get to them.
And Nicole, will you be reading off questions, or do you want me to monitor that chat box?
We can read them to you. Okay. Just so you don't have to focus on multiple things.
Cool.
While we're waiting for the questions to come in, I'll just make note, everyone will be receiving a follow-up email, and that will include an evaluation. If you would just take a couple minutes to fill that out to help us better our programming, we would greatly appreciate it. And I just received a note from my participant that the Peloton app has a lot of options for physical activities as well. Sure. I've never personally used it, but I've heard of it.
Yes, that's awesome.
All right, we have a question. Were the sessions you provided for frontline workers recorded, and are they available to watch?
Great question. So some of them were recorded, but they are just being shared for specific groups if you have specific questions for it. So they are not available to the public per se, for just liability reasons and that kind of thing. We just, with it being kind of a spur of the moment decision to start providing those, we didn't have like the background work to then post them to like our website and have them access to there. But I have recorded and shared work from home yoga sequences or like desk time yoga with specific nursing managers to help their staff get a break from their work duties and come together as a group for 10 to 15 minutes. So if you're a manager and that's something that you're interested in, I do have those recordings, and that's something I've already created and done that I would be happy to share. We just can't post that so it can be accessed by anyone.
Right. Our next question is, do you have any suggestions for what individuals can try if they aren't thrilled with taking walks, if they want kind of more low impact exercises?
Yeah, an idea would be there are those stationary bikes that you can put on the floor. So it's not a full stationary bike, which are expensive, but literally just the pedals. And then that can be on the floor. So you can be sitting in any chair in your house, put your feet in these little pedals and cycle, and that's going to give the joints some mobility. It helps essentially to get those joints moving, and then help get those muscles to fire too. So that would be a really great low impact way to get moving. The other thing would be, just, while you're sitting, to do some leg kicks. So fully extend one leg, then the other, and then a few sit to stands. So just by getting a little bit more active around your house, that would be a great way to increase your activity levels and to kind of track that throughout the day, so that you're making sure that you're getting a combined 30 minutes of moderate intensity of activity per day.
Awesome. Along similar lines, another question is, are there any low impact activities that would be recommended for people who are pregnant during COVID and no access to a gym?
Yes, that's a great question. So my daughter just turned 1 last week. So I recently went through that. So I feel for you. Walks are a great go-to, but it is hot out there. So, yoga is fantastic. And there are a lot of great prenatal yoga classes out there, or during pregnancy yoga virtual options. So looking into that. There's a lot online out there pertaining to that. And even if it's not a video, just having a printout, there's some printouts out there that can give you ideas of exercises to do on your own. But some good examples would be on your hands and your knees. So in a tabletop position, doing cat-cow. So that's whenever you round your spine as much as you can and then extend it as much as you can, going back and forth there. And then from that same position, extending opposite arm, opposite leg for an exercise called bird dog. Those are really safe positions to engage the core during pregnancy.
Great. Next question. How long do you recommend not going into public after an active workout? This person didn't know that your immune system kind of decreased after you work out.
So it decreases. So if it's an extremely vigorous exercise, right? So if you work out to that point of exhaustion, that immune system actually decreases until we get back to that baseline recovery. So just want to make sure that's clear. Of any kind of moderate intensity exercise, your immune function increases. Like that immune function is better whenever it's moderate intensity. But when it is into that vigorous intensity or that extreme intensity, that's when we see that dip in immune function. Specific time frame, that's a great question. I really honestly don't know the specific timeline, but I would say for that, recovery period of where you're feeling that delayed onset of muscle soreness of that 2 to 3 days after that kind of an exhaustive workout would be while your body's recovering and it's rebuilding and replenishing those proteins. So your body's focused on that and not on fighting off a potential virus. So that 2 to 3 day window where we see that delayed onset of muscle soreness, I would say would coincide with that dip in that, vigorous intensity dip in immune response. So just keep that in mind. Don't let that scare you or make you fearful by any means, but just something to keep in mind for, making sure that you're nourishing your body appropriately after those vigorous exercises and hydrating appropriately so that you're doing what you can to keep your immune system up and not in that really exhausted state post vigorous intensity exercise.
Great information. Any more questions? Put them in the chat box.
And Nicole, I saw one question pop up about if this will be shared. Can you speak to that?
Yes, so in the follow-up email that will be sent out either later today or early next week, there will be the link to the evaluation, like I had noted, and then also a link to a recording of this. So it'll be available as well.
So a link to the recording, but will there be a link to the slides that people could click on those extra links? Do you know?
Yes, they should have been sent out beforehand.
Okay.
But I will be included in the follow-up email as well, so everyone will have a link to them.
Perfect. And then I saw that question about the core exercises. So there's not a link to the core exercise handout. However, it is a handout that we've created within our sports medicine department. So Nicole, could I send that on to you, and then maybe that could be included in the
Yes,
follow-up?
absolutely. That'd be great. Okay, any last minute questions? All right, well, we will, oh, one question just came in. Are there any therapists that specialize in prenatal therapies for staying active that we would have access to
I'm your
that
girl.
you know of?
That would be me. So specifically in the sports medicine department, and at the Crane, I'm kind of our go-to for those that are pregnant or postpartum, and wanting to stay very physically active, and helping them know what they can and cannot do, as well as addressing any aches and pains that come along with pregnancy, right? So back pain, hip pain, muscle spasms. So I love to work with patients with that. And then we also have a women's health team that work out of more our orthopedic end of the spectrum, and they help to target if there are any pelvic floor related issues that might require any internal screening. So everything that I do is external and more focused on that active individual who is also pregnant or postpartum. And then they help get things that maybe are a little bit more intensive to the pelvic floor specifically.
Right. Perfect question for this presentation, the right person.
Yeah.
Just a couple more seconds if we have any questions.
And I really appreciate the time to talk to all of you guys today. Physical therapy has been a great field to be a part of, and during this time, the creativity of everyone involved has been really neat to see. So no matter what department you're in, I hope that everyone can find ways to stay active and be well, but also, be creative in ways that we can continue to help each other as colleagues and coworkers throughout the university, so that this time of kind of slowing down and stepping back, we can also think of ways to help each other and push everybody forward in a positive way.
Great way to end it on that note. So Kayla, thank you again so much. This has been wonderful, such good information for everybody. We really appreciate you taking time to come and talk to all of us. And thank you everyone for tuning in, and have a great rest of your day and a great weekend.
Awesome. Thanks, Nicole. Thanks, everyone.